Hello all, Uzay here. In today's video I'm going to cover how I aim and many techniques that I use to perform in Titanfall 2. This is a video that I would not have bothered to upload until I saw the explosion of the player base on PS4 from its recent free-to-play pass from PS Plus. And it's also been highly requested, and I didn't want to make this video until I had a webcam to show my controller and how I'm personally doing it. So to all that are new and that have arrived from that, hello, and a warm welcome. Now let's get into this after a little highlight reel. Before I start this section, I'd like to say a few things. The first thing to understand is that being good at a first-person shooter is not the same as having good aim. An important distinction has to be made between the mechanics, aiming skills, movement skills, game sense, and just in general skills such as decision making, positioning, what to do and not what to do, of course. This distinction between mechanics and game sense skills should not be taken too strictly. In order to have good aim in Titanfall 2, one has to understand positioning, when to engage or when to disengage to maximize damage output. To play fast and aggressively, more importantly efficiently in Titanfall 2 requires great mechanics. While defensive and passive play is more game sense orientated in general, you won't drop as many kills if you play like this, usually. Another thing is your gaming equipment. If you don't already, I suggest investing for console in a 60Hz monitor for better input to your controller. The controller I'm using is an Xbox One S controller with no paddles. Now onto my sensitivity and settings. On screen you can see my sensitivity and settings. I'm going to leave them on screen for a bit, so if anyone wants to take them down, feel free to do so. In this tutorial I will not be covering slide hopping and how to do it. I already have a tutorial for this on my channel covering my in-depth sensitivity and settings and how to move in Titanfall. You must watch the tutorial before instantly jumping into this one. It will be in a link in the description if you remember to do so. It also covers stuff such as stim eject strafing, strafing in general, just air strafing, wall kicking at a certain part which I really suck at. Now onto what sensitivity you should use. In Titanfall 2, for your standard weapon classes, so assault rifles, submachine guns, light machine guns and shotguns, in general you should be using a low sensitivity. You maximize your tracking on a controller if you do this. However, that doesn't mean you can't use a high sensitivity on a controller. In this clip here I'm about to play, I'm using 6-7 steady, no dead zone, which is my Kraber sensitivity, not my standard weapons. As you can see throughout this clip, my tracking is off and on, and not consistent, which is a drawback of a high sensitivity on controller. Overshooting in general, overshooting is where you over-aim your target and overflick them, missing them completely or having to recenter your crosshair onto them due to lackluster tracking. Whereas a low sensitivity, this is where much more difficult and you can achieve a much easier muscle memory on the sticks, such as in this clip I'm using 4-4, no dead zone, steady response curve, where I'm consistently flicking onto my targets with a decent level of tracking.
You are unstoppable, pilot. Very impressive. Keep it up. Amazing. That's the kind of showing off I love. Double time. Great triple kill.
Personally, I use a low sensitivity on standard guns and high sensitivity on my Kraber for flick shots, but it is key here that sniping on a high sensitivity to become consistent with, you have to consistently play with it, and that's personally in my experience to become more efficient with it. Otherwise, you need to invest more time to become efficient at high sensitivity in sniping in Titanfall. I'm going to be covering briefly sniping in Titanfall on high sensitivity in this tutorial, but I might do a extended tutorial and another. But here's a clip of high sensitivity sniping versus low sensitivity.
Two out, now the rest. You're a triple threat, pilot. You are unstoppable, pilot.
Warning, we have a hostile pilot on board.
Dominating. Two in a row.
How do you hit with charge rifle, honestly? I always overshoot. Ow.
And that is how. In this section I'm going to cover a not very well known aiming technique that I discovered from a large Titanfall 2 competitive player, MrBlaBlak. If you haven't already, make sure you check out his content, it is truly amazing. Now back to the video. I decided to show this since many people are struggling doing this on a controller. I didn't want to make a video covering how to do it until I had this webcam. And since I now do, I have no reason to bitch out of strength players how to get good. I use this technique in everyday Titanfall. It allows me to be accurate on nearly any single sensitivity in the game, including the Kraber sniper rifle. Strafe aiming or body tracking isn't necessarily moving the exact same direction as the opposing player, like a chameleon in basic terms. So if, say, my enemy moves left, I move my left joystick left, and if he does right, it's vice versa, I move right. Here you can see the insane accuracy when done properly on a controller. However, it is important to note while body tracking or strafe aiming, you must not purely rely on your body movement for aiming. As you can see with my joystick, I'm making micro adjustments with my low sensitivity to recorrect my aiming on the player. If we were to talk percentage of body tracking to physical right joystick aiming, I would say 3/4 of my aim is body tracking and that final quarter is recorrecting aim. As you can see, when you don't recorrect your aim, you get poor tracking. This is why you need to constantly be recorrecting your aim while body tracking. As you can see here, I'm constantly recorrecting and in turn getting fantastic tracking. Now for tracking against faster moving targets, the same applies. However, the use of tap firing may come into play at certain range because hipfire for SMGs becomes useless and you don't want to aim down sights, of course. So what are you going to have to do is tap fire or fire 10 bullets, let off with a tap fire, then back to normal shooting to reset recoil. Every single time you tap fire, it resets the recoil. This is a stupid useful technique, not technique, like the tap firing for any single gun in the game. If you think the R201 has really high recoil, I strongly suggest you try tap firing, or at least doing bursts of fire, because the R201 has much higher recoil than the R101 if you didn't know. According to in-game values, like the screenshots they have or whatever, it's the same. They're not the same gun. By damage and stuff, they're the same, and by rate of fire, I'm pretty sure they're the same. R101 has 2.5 kick, right, and the R201 has 2. So the R101 is a better gun, and if you want the R201 to be just as good, you must tap fire. Also, strafing left and right will boost your accuracy with carbines, I have noticed.
So not going in a straight line but left and right, you'll have much better control of recoil on the move. In this I'm using the Vault, and as you can see, at the maximum health setting, it just melts once you start hitting shots. Now this gun is considered fairly weak and not really a meta weapon because people believe it sucks. Wrong. Vault is amazing, you just have to learn how to hit your shots just like with every other gun, which is strange since the Vault is in fact the gun I use to train this, because it has the least recoil out of the SMGs, and has the second lowest TTK. The lowest time to kill on SMGs, by the way, is the R97, but it's probably more enjoyable in my opinion. I'd like to finish this section off talking about
I want to see if I
carbines
can at
and
least
body
hit
tracking
someone
with
at this
them.
point. 'cause
Now,
knowing
to
before,
maximize your
maybe he's
accuracy
just
with
too far
body
away.
tracking, you want to line up your center dot of your tri crosshair,
That
so
was
that
good.
little dot in the
Okay.
middle of the crosshair on your carbine, assault rifle, whatever weapon it is. You want to line that up with them, then aim down sights. This will maximize your accuracy, and it'll give you the first hand shot. As you can see here, I line it up and then I aim down sights, and I can track people who are grappling across the map, and I can just beam them if you do this properly. And if you are tap firing, it's even more insane. And as you can see here, the raw TTK of R101 when it's aimed is just broken as fuck.
In this final section, I'm going to cover Stutter Stepping. Now, this isn't really intended to be used at range, but in this clip here, I am using it at a fairly range circumstance just to show that you can still do it at range. The idea is that you spam your left stick, so your movement stick, left and right really quickly. This also applies to a mouse and keyboard if you play on one on PC. It's literally left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. If you want to maximize this, I suggest you activate Stim while doing so, and it gives you a health boost, and it also makes you faster and harder to hit. Now that's the key idea of Stutter Stepping. The whole point is to be a much harder target to hit because you're constantly moving left and right, which means you're very difficult to track. Thank you guys for watching the tutorial. This is going to be probably one of many tutorials I'm going to make as I see the PS4 player base go up stupid quick. I hope at some point it hits 100,000 players, but that would be completely insane. And in the comment section, I want you to recommend or say what you want me to do a tutorial on. If you want me to do a hand cam tutorial of the movement, I'll do so. Even if it, like, maybe that other one was good, but you just couldn't follow it without seeing someone else do it for you, or something along those lines, then I'll do that. If you want to see a Kraber tutorial, which is something I've been interested in doing, then please tell me, because I'll quite happily do one. It's going to take a long time to formulate and actually figure out what can I teach, because a lot of it is just pure time and practice. And other than that, thank you guys for watching this video, and please leave a like and subscribe, and most importantly, share it to all of your friends who are trying to learn how to play the game. You know, the better we get, the better they get. Honestly, that's when we all improve as a community. Okay, thanks. See yous.